Yeah. It says end broadcast, so that must mean we're going live, right? Right?
I should hope.
Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna hop over here to YouTube real quick and see if it's doing something funky. It looks like it
went live on YouTube.
All right, we are live. Let me pop this chat out here because that way I can do whatever I got to do. We are live, but where is the? Oops, there it is. Add translations? No, I don't want to add translations. What the hell is that? Weird. My YouTube is weird. Man.
Godzilla.
John's Life's out there. Hey, John's Life, what's going on, buddy? We are we experienced this budget ain't got nothing on us as far as technical difficulties. That guy thinks he has trouble. Whew, holy smokes! All right, and there we go. All right, so Ozzy's out there. So sorry, guys. We had a whole laundry list of issues we had to figure out. Well, no big deal. I mean, apparently, I don't know if you heard, but when I refreshed my page to get it to allow me to go live, it took my moderator rights away. And we've never really figured out what you need moderator rights for in the chamber. And we're like, I don't know. So we stopped over to StreamYard, and I popped into StreamYard, and he said, you know what? I bet you couldn't go live because you lost moderator rights. I was like, son of a bitch, I didn't even think of that. If I'd have thought of that, I probably could have fixed it, but it doesn't matter. We're good. We're live now. John's Life says he found a box of 38 special for $40. Holy smokes.
Should have bought 3.
Yeah, share the link.
Yeah.
That I won't use.
John's been on Cheaper Than Dirt again. That's
the hell, don't bogart all that cheap ammo, dude.
$40 on Cheaper Than Dirt. You know darn well that would be $100 a box.
Yeah, that's true. So we got because since we're using StreamYard, we're using the duck. I can only have 6 people live. I got a couple of people in the back. I don't have any other links out. John said it's the PPU. Oh my God, the PPU 38 special for $40. What would that be? What would that go for? About 50 rounds of that before all this was going on, maybe.
Oh, that's free. You walk right up and they hand that to you.
Yeah. I will say this: I've never had any issue with PPU with Privy ammo. I've always been super happy with it for the price, and Privy does a lot of weird calibers that nobody else does in brass, which is really nice.
All my 303
Mauser, all that stuff.
Yep.
303 British.
My
some of the weird 7mm stuff,
My 9mm Largo, all that stuff comes from PPU.
Yeah. And Cabela's used to carry a ton of it too. They did it. I was always that's actually what I used to reload for my Mauser because I bought it for like $17 for 20 rounds and then reloaded it. You can't beat it.
Yep.
So we've got some stuff to talk about. We've got some articles and stuff like that later on. But I know people that have watched the channel for a while know that the outdoor show last year, I sort of happened upon a really cool company. It's Cosaint Arms down in the Carolinas, down by Sarge and those guys, those yahoos down there. There's a lot of troublemakers down in the Carolinas, I've come to find out. And they do a really awesome pistol. And I have yet to shoot one, but hopefully one of these days I'll be able to, they'll do a demo day up by me and I can get out and shoot it. But they came out with a 10mm. They were chambering in 9 and 45, and they just started chambering a 10mm very recently. And so I gave Greg a text and I said, hey, you want to come on the show and talk about the new gun a little bit? And I have some questions too, like, what's been going on with you guys because of COVID, and, what's been going on for us. I'm interested to see what a really small, family owned company is like during this versus Remington or, some of the PSA or some of these huge companies. What's it like for you guys right now? What are you guys seeing? And is it helping? Is it hurting? And for all I know, because a lot of other guns aren't on the shelves, maybe it's actually helping your sales a little bit. I don't know. So we got Moo and Rich. Rich is here. Nighthawk's in. Roll Call's here, and then in the back I've got Ape and Guns and Barbecue. So if you guys in the back have any questions, throw it in the chat there. I'm watching the chat, and we'll ask them for you if Greg can't see them. So what's going on, Greg? How you been?
Good. Thanks a lot for having me. Sorry for the technical issues, but
No
glad I'm able to make it. It's a great question about how COVID. We were just getting some momentum coming out of Outdoor Show, and boom, in March it just got shut down. And I went to a great range in Pittsburgh, and they got all fired up. Said, send us a proposed listing, and that was a Friday. Monday I sent him the proposed listing. Tuesday I called him, and he said, "Sorry, I got to put it on hold. This COVID thing has really got our owners worried." 30 days later, they put out a deal. We're closing. 30 days after that, they filed for bankruptcy.
Wow.
And it was a huge premium range. And it seemed like everywhere I went early on, either, ranges were open. It was just they started to get more and more crowded. They said, we're not interested in really demoing or showing new product. We're just busy crushing it with customers coming and using the range. And so we were just trying to do it kind of word of mouth, and we sold a lot of guns locally, and then again, a lot on the West Coast, and really struggled through the spring. We had really planned to start making money back then, and so then all of a sudden we about a month ago we decided that we would bring on some reps on the West Coast and some reps in the Southwest, and they've just now begun to get samples, and they've got some interest, and mostly because, now everybody's bought all the under $1,000 guns. It was 500, 700, it was then 1,000. Well, now you can't get any of those guns. So
right.
Now they're like, well, yeah, we'd love to demo them and tell the story, and it'd be something better than just somebody walking in and saying, I want a Glock 19. And
right.
We like selling or demoing through ranges, because as soon as somebody tries it, they get it. And if you guys remember from the last time, it's all about recoil mitigation, recoil reduction, and it acts more like a piston when you shoot it. And so we did a demo in Texas, and some friends of ours helped us set it up, and it was fantastic. So that's where the 10 millimeter came. The 45 gets such great reviews. Probably 40% of our sales are in 45s, and that's not normal. The normal sales rate is primarily 9s, and so when you feel it, it's just so much more controllable in that 3.5 and 4 1/4 package. People jumped all over it. So I started to think, well, if that's true, I'm going to buy a 10 millimeter barrel, get a slide, and throw it on our steel frame and polymer grip. And I thought that would be the best. I put on our 45 carry gun, I'd put about 2,000 rounds through it, through all the demos we had done, and it was working great. There were no issues. But I thought, 500 rounds of 10 millimeter through a gun would definitely put it through its paces and tell me if our grip designs, everything, if there were any issues with it. Well, I built it in a 4 1/4 first, and it was just so impressive that I went and got a 5 inch, because that just was like a dream gun. I thought it would just, because that's what everybody built. Everybody built a 5 inch, 10, and that's kind of how we progressed to we're bringing out the 10, so the nice thing is we've kind of narrowed our focus. We try to, our products are pretty much a core product line that everything is in the gun. You still can spec out any gun you want, from, tactical frame to standard, or it's really hard. The round tops go much better than tri-tops, which is kind of a shocker. But
yeah, that's surprising. I love the tri-top one.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really good. We've got a new one that we're working on right now that's it's kind of a hybrid. It's got a flat top, goes into a round, and then flat on the sides, and it's a very cool look. We've got the wider serrations, so they're not the traditional real thin small serrations, and that with front serrations as well as rear, it really is a nice package, especially on a tactical frame. But we've definitely struggled to to get to this point, to get to the volume we need to, on a monthly basis to pay the bills. But the nice thing is we're getting, everybody buys one, super excited about it and loves it. And then we start to get into the ammo problems. I used to pay, $200, $300 a case, and $186 a case, and then all of a sudden now I'm at $500, $1,000 for 9mm, ball ammo. And it's just really difficult, coming into the wholesalers, at this time. And I've known this for years in the industry, unless you've been doing a lot of business with those guys, when one of these hits, they just don't even recognize you.
Yeah, they pretend you're not alive, right?
Yeah, because they're gonna get guns and they're gonna get ammo to all those guys that took care of them and will be with them, after it's over. And they're expecting that if they took care of them, they'll move a lot of their business, which they don't understand. People go wherever they're gonna go anywhere they can get the right price, Yeah. But so we're just kind of moving along. We've definitely fine-tuned our guns, and like I say, we still get great reviews. Those that get them, it's just getting the word out.
Yeah, the place in Pittsburgh, was that the one you were heading to when you stopped here on your way up there?
Yep, Impacts.
Well, that sucks, man, because you were really stoked about that place. I remember when you were here, we were talking about it.
Yeah, and they were very, very responsive. I mean, it was crazy how great they were, and it just took the wind out of my sails when they go, "No, we got to hold off." But man, give me a couple, 2 or 3 weeks. Let's figure out how this COVID thing's going. Then when I saw that they had actually closed up and went bankrupt, it was crazy. Then I had a guy outside of Charlotte, really nice range, 2 ranges outside of Charlotte. We made a tour, went to see a bunch of people, and just introduce ourselves. And guy says, "Yeah, I'm interested. Let's do this thing." And so I go, "Okay, I'll get back to you next week with the proposal. When you think about what gun you want." I call him back and he goes, "Sorry, man, I can't get enough ammo to keep people in the range. I don't want to bring any more demo guns in." I go, "Okay, well that crushed me there." Back to promoting it, kind of consumer direct, and these reps are definitely helping because they're ex-STI reps, and so I mean they're going into a lot of ranges. Everybody's excited, but they've gone to some retailers who said, "Yeah, we get it. We know what the design does. We'll bring on the product line." So now we're just trying to work that.
So I think they're hearing a little bit of an echo. So when you're not talking, Greg, can you mute? I think it might be because you don't have headphones. It's no big deal. You'll just have to mute and unmute.
Okay.
Actually, stop now. So maybe we're okay. Maybe you won't have to. So I had a question out there from Calaveras. Calaveras 32 Special. He's one of the gang here, and he does some of his own videos. He's out in Cali. He was wondering where in Cali or where in the West Coast there you guys are doing demos. He said he'd love to see a demo near Sacramento.
Yeah, they can't because they're not allowed in California through the registry that they've got.
Okay, that's what I was wondering earlier.
In California, you have to pass their drop test, and the big one right now is a microstamp on the firing pin.
Mm-hmm.
Boy,
all of
Greg,
that is here.
If you pull one of those off in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I'd love to see it.
Yep. You muted yourself there, Greg. Hold on.
We really should go to Tennessee. Tennessee would be a great market for us. And I'll definitely keep that in mind. I'll put something up over the next, probably the next month. I would love to go kind of north and I'd love to go, into Tennessee since I've already made the trip to Texas.
If you get up here, I know very well all the local gun shop owners. I could at least get you a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I really like. I mean, I like just talking to people because, you never know. Somebody might walk in and go, hey, if you're this Cosaint Arms, can you get me one? Versus contacting us. And so the more people we can talk to about it, explain what we do, and then you never know, somebody's review or video or something else, all of a sudden they get it,
Mm-hmm.
So I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, Greg, if you ever, I've got, not just me, but like these guys, we got people, we got friends all over the country, man. So if you ever want any kind of, info about anything, just let us know, man. We can send out some emails and see if anybody's in certain areas that might be able to, tell you a good spot to try or something. Like, use the community here, man. It's cool. We got a lot of good people here. Are you guys going to be at the outdoor show this year?
We're still debating. I would like to. It's just I know that there's not going to be any problem, as I get closer. But I'll probably make that call in November. And now that we've been out there a year and we come back, that would add a lot to it. We had a lot of interest. And like I told you last time, if I go up there, then I'd arrange to probably use 717 Armory or one of those ranges to do a demo while we're there, a couple of demos while we're there. So that
would be awesome.
Yeah, because maybe what I could do is leave guns at those ranges, so I don't even have to be there. Somebody was interested, I could tell them, just go to this range. They're all ready to give you a gun for demoing, and then work something out with those ranges. That was kind of our loss the last time.
Ghost Tactical out there, another awesome channel and super good dude, man. Like, really consider him a good friend. He's in Arkansas. He was wondering, he's out. I think it's Heber, Arkansas. I believe he's close to. I was just wondering if you guys do anything out in Arkansas.
Have not yet. We almost stopped in there because when we were in Texas working with the reps, they had us go to because I had all my samples. They said, there's someplace you want me to go before I head home, and they go, yeah, go to Oklahoma City and see H&H. So I knew those guys in Oklahoma City. We went and did a demo, and then I've got a really good friend who works at Walther in Arkansas. So I thought, let's go and spend a day in Arkansas. And then we thought, no, let's come back and spend, more days in the whole area.
Remember this guy?
Oh yeah,
he fell asleep on you, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. And for the hour or whatever afterwards, my eyes were itching like crazy.
Yeah, he heard your voice and he came walking over here, so I guess he remembers you.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. I was into 717 a couple of months ago, or a month or two ago, and was asking them about their demo guns because a kid I work with, one of my cooks, is looking to get something, and I was going to take him over there to do some demos, shoot some stuff, and I asked him about what they have and how do I know what you guys have? I mean, do you put it online? Do you whatever? He's like, no, it's always changing. He's like, and we just got a ton of stuff in here because we sold a bunch of them. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know you guys sold demo guns. He said, we don't normally, but we were all out of guns and people were coming in and wanted to buy guns. So we were like, the hell with it. We're going to sell them demo guns. So they sold a ton of their demo guns too. He said, we just sold people guns that wanted guns, man. That's what we do. So it's been super weird, man. And that was towards the beginning of this. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of places that don't even have anything to sell now. It's slim pickings.
It's very slim pickings.
Yeah. And that's why I was wondering if the people's price points are moving up a little bit, or, if they're saying, well, I was going to buy this and this, but, they're not really, or they're so overpriced right now, maybe I'll spend a little bit more and get something a little nicer, something a little more showy, like what you guys are providing. G23 is asking if your guys are going to be up in Oregon anytime.
Yes, I need to be, just because the reps we just took on board, I'm going to have to go out there and visit and also make a couple calls with them. So we definitely are going to head to the Northwest once these fires die down.
Yeah, I know. Scary, man. It's crazy out there. You just see these pictures, and it looks like the surface of the moon. It's all orange. Like it's terrifying. I can't imagine being out there, and having some of the deaths, and you just hear about these stories, and it's so sad. Ghost is asking. He says, "What's the next evolution of the company outside of 1911? You guys planning to do anything outside of 1911s eventually?"
Right now that's that's totally full. We're just getting a ton of requests to do a double stack, and so if we do a double stack, that'll probably be the next migration, and then we really just we really got to service that demand first, and be good at servicing that demand. But in all the conversations we've had, we've really picked up some very cool ideas of things that we could be doing.
Yeah. So how the 10 millimeter has been pretty well received so far?
Yeah, for the 2 or 3 weeks that we put it out there, it's crazy. Like I think I might have said that when I took it to the Dallas demo, we set up 2 tables and put 9 and 45 at both tables, and then I put the 10 at the far right. And I thought, what the heck? I'm in Texas. There's going to be people who just get more power. I want a bigger guy.
Right.
And so by the time it was over, that was kind of it didn't matter who you were. I got to try this 10. These guys that were helping me do it. So yeah, you got to shoot the 10. And there was a couple there, a man and a woman, and he had just bought a Springfield TRP. And when she got done, they were just laughing, saying, "Oh my God, I just spent all that money on that TRP. I could have gotten one of these. I can't even believe it." And since then, and then his wife actually, gave us something on a video saying it's incredible how it shoots. And I thought for sure she wouldn't like it just because of the power behind it. I didn't realize that she shot it all the time with her husband. And,
right.
But the neat thing about it is, on a 10, it's just that it's such a sharp. It's a sharp recoil that, it's a lot of power, but the way I describe it is it's not like 45 is powerful, but it's a dulled down power, And with the 10, this thing that with the 10, you feel the power, but it's softer. It doesn't jam into your, into your hand the way a 10 does. And so it was very well received. I'm just shocked at how well the system works. And it's a small market, the 10, but everybody I've showed it to, especially at retail, they said, "Oh my God, they've got so many requests for 10 now." And I said, "Really? Why?" And they said, "I have no idea." Our local range said he's had more requests for a 10 millimeter in the last 9 months than he has his entire time owning the range.
Well, that might have something to do with the next question I was going to ask is a lot of people in the past few, the last few months have been talking up like 40 because you can still find it. It's not super overpriced and it's still available. Would you guys have you guys thought about doing a 40 just for that reason? Because people are like, what, I'd buy a 40 just because you can't find 9 millimeter, you can't find 357, you can't find all the other stuff, and 10 millimeter seems to be out there and 40 seems to be out there.
Yeah, we actually have a couple of barrels just to do that because
cool.
we can use the same slide. We bought a couple barrels to go with it because the other thought is too that especially with this setup, if we just match the barrel to the same gun, we could actually offer somebody a 10 and 40 combination gun where they have two barrels and 2 springs. That's all you swap out. And basically you got 2 calibers in a gun,
That's awesome. That's if you guys have the ability to do that, man, that's something that you need to market. Cause I know, there's a lot of guys that are looking at, the California Highway Patrol 40s had become real popular there when they hit the market because they're good guns and they're priced right. And, 40s just seem to be everybody, even people that hate 40s right now are saying, you know what, man, I pick up a 40 because, I can find the ammo and it's good to have. And so that's pretty awesome. Now, since you guys do so much in-house work, what about red dot cuts? Have you done any of those yet?
It's so funny. That's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We actually have our first Commander tri-top that we're gonna put. We're gonna put a Seymour. I got a buddy that the guys at Seymour I know pretty well, and so they sent me one of their small red dots to go ahead and put on a gun, see what I think of it. And so we're gonna put one on our Commander tri-top, and we've done probably 10 or 15 RMR cuts for our local retailer. And so they bring us slides, everything from, Springfield Armory to FN to Glocks. And so we do the cut for them. And then they have a customer where they sold them the optic and they install it on the gun. So we're thinking, well, we're doing all this for everybody else. Why don't we do one on our guns? We get so many requests. Do you have an optic cut? So we're trying to figure out how to do that. There's so many different optics out there. Which cut do you put on the slide?
Right.
And so we're thinking that more of the capability that if somebody wanted it, they buy the gun. If they want to send it back to us, for just a slight upcharge, we'd put their optic cut on it. It looks great. It works great. It looks just as good on our round top as it does the tri-top.
It's nice to see somebody making a 10 millimeter that can actually handle 10 millimeter recoil. It's such a relief. It's not a plastic gun for a change.
Now, somebody told me just a couple days ago that most of the manufacturers have really gotten out of 10 millimeter. And so I'd love to get your input on that.
Well, 10 millimeter guns have one of the highest wear out rates, which is why they neutered the 10 millimeter cartridge. If you look back to the incidents that sparked, 1984, if you looked at the shooting, the FBI shooting that sparked the introduction of the 10 millimeter to the world, well, the marksmanship was going down and the guns were wearing out faster. And that is the same thing that's been experienced with a lot of firearms going forward. The technology on 10 millimeter hasn't advanced that much. They've just neutered the round. So I get excited when I see a 10 millimeter that, a weapon that could handle a full power 10 millimeter cartridge. I'm interested to see what the wear rate on that pistol is, really shouldering that full power 10 millimeter round.
Yeah, so like I say, we put probably 500 rounds through the one that we have, and now it's out at a guy who really wanted to demo it, a guy out in Oregon, and so I sent it out to him, and so I was kind of excited to do that because then I knew I'd get another 200 to 300 rounds through it because of all the demoing, all the tests he's going to put it through. So for me, the cool thing is going to be, you're right, how does it handle? And I'm also told that we've got to get the super hopped up ammo and put that through it because that seems to be the ammo of choice, not standard ball ammo, but super hot,
No. Yep.
Killer ammo.
Yep. And some of us hunt our 10 millimeters, so we use them with the hotter stuff.
Yeah. So I'd love to see how that works with our grip and, because if it's beating up metal guns, it's definitely going to beat up our grip. The nice thing is all that can be tweaked, fixed.
Well, you guys have the ability to, I know we talked about this the last time you were on was the ability to buy multiple frames or lowers, you could tailor it to the 10 millimeter a little bit more than when the 9 millimeter, the 40 is, and something that feels better in your hand too, which is really kind of cool. I don't know. It's just so, I don't know. It's so neat. I love the Instagram page that you guys do because it shows what a small company can do when they want to do something a little different, and I love the color combination that you guys do. I mean, you put that one out last week that was the flat dark earth and blacks. One was black on earth and the other was earth on black. And they just look really sharp. They look so nice. And to be able to just order what you want is so cool,
It kind of goes to the whole idea that we want people to have their gun. It's their gun. It's not a 1,000 different Springfields that were shipped or 1,000 Kimbers that were shipped, all the same look and feel. It's definitely also all this weekend. I painted 6 or 7 guns and got them all together for our gunsmith to review tomorrow. And we've got to get out. And as I'm going through it, I'm thinking, kind of our system we have set up, we have a new color smoke that just is absolutely, it's awesome looking. And I had 2 customers that were trying to figure out what color they wanted. Couldn't figure it out. And they're sending me, they want these custom, they send me pictures of guns. Can you duplicate this? Can you duplicate that? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going down this path. I don't know how to do this. And all of a sudden, the one guy goes, I found it. Can you do the gun in Cerakote smoke? Within an hour, this doctor from Greenville, who'd been really working closely with me to get the perfect color, he texts me and goes, hey, can you get smoke from Cerakote? I said, bingo. We'll do that. So 2 totally different custom guys, land on smoke. And one added all smoke and the other guy added smoke with black highlights. And I mean, I love them when they're done, because, and then we try and get a side panel that matches as close as possible. And, I know as we get volume and everything else, things ramp up. I just don't want to lose that. I want to find a way to have whoever helps me do this, sit there and go through BZ or Hogue or, Cerakote and find color combinations that work. It all comes to, if it shoots that well, I want it to be their carry gun. I want it to be their go-to gun. And when they pull it out, they have a story behind it,
G23 out there is asking if they would do a thin blue line in the 10 millimeter combo. I'm sure you guys would. You do whatever the hell somebody wants, right?
Yep. So I don't know if you saw, we did one gun where we made that chamfer a blue line. And we used NRA blue. And it turned out really well. Actually, a woman in Texas at the demo had just gone through her concealed carry, didn't like her Ruger she bought. She didn't like her 380 she bought. She tried her gun, and her husband, as soon as they were done, she goes, I want this gun. He bought it right there at the demo, filled out the spec for him. But it was our back the blue gun. It had the blue stripe with blue and black side panels. When I came back, I had another gun that had blue side panels, really bright blue aluminum side panels. And I had a retailer say, I won't put that in my case. And I said, why is that? And he goes, it looks too much like a blue gun, like a,
like a
training gun. And I didn't even think of that. And so when I came home, my gunsmith said, let's do a blue trigger and blue pins and make it really subtle and make that our back the blue gun. So, I mean, I love that. I mean, I'd love to come up with one that was a back the blue that we could actually say a portion of it goes to that cause.
Yeah, it'd be pretty neat to see since you guys can do whatever the heck you want. They do the thin red line. One of them's gray. I think gray is for corrections officers. There's red. There's blue. There's green. For green is border control. I think it'd be pretty neat for you to see somebody be able to pick up and custom it to whatever they want.
That's a great idea. It's a great idea.
It's neat. It's neat. Even if I'm not saying you'd sell a ton of them, but it would look really good on the website to have them all. To have them all
Imagine
there.
all set up. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I'm just checking out the chats here. If anybody has any questions, let me know here.
Have you thought about staying in specialty? So I love the idea of customizing a weapon. What I've seen so many companies that are really super good at making a line of weapons is they've tried to go somewhere else, and you'll hear me reference the Mossberg series, right? Mossberg came out with the MC1, and that was such a treacherously bad firearm because they really have been great at making one series. I owned 4 Mossberg shotguns. My evaluation of it was so bad that I was afraid they'd come take my 590s away from me. And so, have you ever considered kind of sticking with the 1911 line and just, putting your efforts into focusing on customization and different calibers like that?
I do. And the reason is that, I've been places where they kind of lost focus and kept moving to the next, great horizon. And I think that that's a real negative. I think that I would really like to be, in my experience, so I might have said this the last time we were together, but, in my experience, I knew about the 1911. I knew how it functioned. But I didn't know all of the little details that go into how that firearm works. And we've been through such a learning curve of how to build that gun and the little tiny things that can cause it not to work. One of the things I did over the weekend, I've got a 9mm gun. One of the things we did recently, so this is a palm swell grip. I do this right. Palm swell grip, but because we print them, our competitive shooter down in South Georgia said, "Will you put a magwell on it for me?"
Oh, there you go.
Well, I couldn't find a magwell from Techwell that would work, so I just had the engineer add it to the bottom. We printed it that way. Well,
yeah, it's awesome.
There you go.
So now instead of paying $100 for a magwell, this cost me the same as another grip. So somebody could get a whole second grip if they wanted to for the $100 rather than just the magwell, and so there's so many little things like that to where as we're developing things, so I painted a gun this weekend, and I got one of these guns going to a guy in Texas that has helped me a lot, and he really wanted one for his competition shooting. And got it worked flawlessly. I painted it, and now it's got a little hitch in it, and it's all tied to the paint, to Cerakote. So there's a little spot inside of it, and so it's a long story, but it's an amazing weapon, and when it's put together right, it's an awesome gun. And so I'm just thinking, why would I want to go down another path? When we've learned so much, and there's so many, our numbers are that there's somewhere in the neighborhood of, in a normal year, 400,000 to 500,000 1911s are bought and sold every year in the United States. Kimber's 200,000 of it. And so, you take Springfield, and even Smith & Wesson makes a bunch. Then you take all the thousands that Arms Corps imports. There's at 500,000 1911s, we can have a very nice business just with the rounding error, the crumbs that are from that, So, we're not looking to be, 20 or 30,000 units. We're looking to just have a nice business,
I would throw my Kimbers at the dealer if your gun runs better than them, because I have been internally infuriated by high level and high dollar 1911s my entire life, and I've heard nothing but good things about your product.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Couple of questions out there, quick, some yes and no's probably. Any thoughts on 357 SIG?
Great question. When I did this 10mm, that was the next one, thinking, what? Wouldn't that be kind of cool,
Yeah.
to be able to do it? And, again, my gunsmith, he's such a great guy. He goes, man, come on. That's just another chambering. He goes, we could get that done. No problem. We get another 38 Super is another big one that we get questions about.
Yeah. And then you can sell in Mexico. There you go.
Well, 357 like a Kunan, that would be amazing too.
Yeah. So what was the one our gunsmith said? What is it? A Roland 40, 460 Roland? Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 460 Roland. He loves big bore stuff, and so he's bringing me all kinds of that stuff. And I was thinking, here we're doing a 9mm carry gun, but if our gun holds up and mitigates recoil, then we should move into some of these really bigger calibers, just to see what happens, see how they feel. If we can tame some of those, that would be because that's the only other company that makes a gun similar to ours, or that we, is STI or Staccato or whatever they're called themselves today. There's nobody else. Everything else is a custom-made competition gun. And STI makes 90% of their product is 9mm. So that I think that's why we do fairly well. I'd also tell you that 90% of the people we've sold a gun to have no idea who STI is. Don't even understand the concept.
Next question. Threaded barrels. That's something that you guys could probably handle, right?
Absolutely. We actually have a 45 5-inch threaded barrel in-house right now that we're going to make into a gun because our landlord and my engineer, he and a partner have created a suppressor company. And so they've developed a very, very cool 22 suppressor. And so the next one they're going to make it for is a 45. And so I brought the threaded barrel in to make up a 45, so he'd have a gun to demo his suppressors with, and then eventually we would have something to work with. But I, again, like the optic, I get a good number of calls for threaded barrels.
Mm-hmm. And Ghost out there was asking, have you guys thought about getting into the rimfire, any rimfire calibers at all?
I would, but I got to get this off the ground first. Because in my opinion, that's going to take some R&D. I would love to have a 380 in our concept, where you take everything, you downsize everything, so that you get the 1911 platform, but more not with a lug, system, but a direct blow, straight blowback, and thinking that our system would mitigate that sharp 380 that every gun has, because it just goes right away, as soon as you fire it.
A system like yours in a gun the size of like a SIG 938 or 238 or something would be really awesome.
Oh my God, it'd take us to the next level on a carry gun,
Yeah, for sure. I know.
The hardest thing about those small guns, they get so squirrely. It's a lot of power and a little tiny gun. There's a lot of people would say there's no way around it. But if I could put the engineering into it and bring it into our system and downsize that, oh my gosh, I just think that'd be the best carry gun.
Springfield did it with the 911, and it's actually real easy to shoot. You guys are twice as smart as they are, right? Oh, did I say that out loud?
Even the size of the Smith & Wesson EZ would be good too. I have the Smith & Wesson EZ, and that thing just eats that recoil from the 380.
Yeah, one of my good friends in the industry showed me that gun when I first showed him our concept, and said they're eating up the industry with this 380 they've got.
Yeah, I think you were checking out mine when you were here, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah, very cool. Do you guys do? And this is I'm a little off topic. Do you guys, just for my own knowledge, do you guys do gunsmithing for other? I mean, can people bring their guns to you guys to work, or you just for your own company's sake? You guys do your own thing?
We've done a little bit. We did a little bit of shotgun work. Again, because our local retailer he's more of a Glock. He's more of a polymer gun guy. So he's really good at all that stuff. He's a really good AR guy. But when it comes to 1911s or the platform, and there's been a couple of versions of that, they brought it over to us and wanted to talk about it. We have not. One of the things that, again, we've talked about internally is because we deal with, a lot of consumer direct stuff, the question's going to come up, which it did with our 10 millimeter, would we do a trade-in? And our gunsmith is just all about we should be doing that, because with our Cerakote capability, depending on the gun, I would shy away from bringing in Glocks, swapping out a Glock for ours, but because I don't know that he's really good at it. I'm just not comfortable with that platform. But I really think that might be something we mature into, is that somebody says that, I'd love to do it, would you do a trade-in? Well, if they're going to do it anyway with somebody else, or they're going to try and sell it on a gun broker. We talked to this one guy, and I said, for what I can pay you for it, put it on gun broker. You'll sell it in a couple of days. He says, I just don't want to go through the hassle, He said, I just want to get your, so we're just still in a kind of a discussion about it. But again, we've done a lot of things to try and chase getting, some resource, some money into revenue to help us during this, trying to get our name out there. And in some cases, a lot of times it's machining. Other times what ends up happening is it just bogs us down. We get tied up in something and we lose focus on what we're supposed to be doing. We got to get guns out,
And that was one of the other questions I had written down for myself, was that do you guys accept trade-ins, or is that something you've wanted to do, or maybe stayed out of, or is it more trouble than it's worth, or what? Yeah, I was going to ask that question too.
Well, I we've got this local retailer, and he's been really good to us, and we're just thinking that might be a really good partnership if we work with him, and he says, well, I know I can get this for the gun, then we know what we can trade it for. We don't want to make money on the gun. We just want to recoup the money we're giving him, And he's a Cerakoter, our local retailer's a Cerakoter, we're a Cerakoter. And so the thought is that, we can tune up a gun that somebody's, had or shot, and, we can definitely tune it up, make it look sharp, and get all the value out of it. Put $100 in it and $200 for it, and then that we come out fine, Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that's a point that I didn't even think about, is somebody trades something in that's, it's got a bunch of holster wear or something in it. You take it as a trade, and then, on a slow day, you put somebody on there. It's like, hey, clean this up. Let's get it looking sharp and see if we can get it out the door. That's awesome. So Calaveras said about, he's back on talking about the barrel swaps and changeable barrels. He brought up, since you already have the 9 millimeter, what about chambering a 380 in your 9 millimeter with a barrel swap?
Okay. I'm not as good on this, but I think that it's like going to a 22 upper. You've got to have the reason 380s is that they don't have the lug. The barrel is held up for a second as you fire the gun. The lugs hold it in place while the bullet and the pressure get out. With a 380, they don't have any of that. It just goes. It just the barrel immediately comes back, and there's no hold up at all, because it's just because of the caliber. This is what my understanding of it is. So that it takes a little bit of engineering to have those things work out, because the 380 just doesn't have the same pressures to run that system, even with a really light spring. It's my understanding is there's just not enough pressures to make the slide work.
Right. Okay.
Somebody knows more than that. I'd love to learn about it.
Yeah.
So on
absolutely.
the subject of swappable barrels, you're talking about the 10 millimeter in that. Have you thought about maybe offering something like Dan Wesson did as a pistol pack of, here's your 10 millimeter. If you want, you can have a 40, a 357 SIG, or if you want to be the real masochist or really test our design, 9x25 Dillon.
that would be kind of a cool, and the reason I love that is that, all of that is the same gun. You're just swapping out the barrel, changing a spring. Everything else is the same, but that's a somebody would go and then you just put a reasonable price on each barrel upgrade, or addition, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Maybe if you're, say, like making a long slide, here's a long slide 4 or long slide 10, long slide Dylan, or if you're get into doing, like, say, an officer's model, here's a 10, a 40, or a SIG. So,
right.
Yeah. I know. Yankee did that video with the Dan Wesson, that revolver. I'd never seen a barrel a revolver that swapped barrels like that. It was really interesting. It's very cool to see it. And honestly, the price was very reasonable. I was really surprised. I thought for sure it would have been more than it was, and it's pretty awesome. So Ghost out there is asking if you guys could do a Marine Corps themed 9mm. He's a Marine, for a retired Marine, and I don't know if you can see the chat, but he said if you can do a Marine Corps themed 9mm, he'll take 2. He said he'll take 2. He didn't say that.
Okay, so on our Instagram, there is a really good friend of mine, lives in Greenville. He ordered a 9mm for Commander, and we built and he called out mil spec green, and so we did it in mil spec green with black highlights, meaning the slide stop, grip safety, trigger. No, the trigger was silver, and then we put walnut side panels on it. It's a beautiful gun. I have a gun right now I just took the order last week, and we're building it for a guy whose father was a Marine, and so he's doing it as a tribute to his father. And we're going to do it in mil-spec green, and he's going to make the trigger USMC red, and the pins red, and the mag catch red, and then he's doing walnut side panels, and then he's thinking about buying the walnut side panels with the Marine Corps logo on the side, the Eagle Globe and Anchor.
My grandfather was a Marine, and about a year ago, I was looking up. He was on Guadalcanal. He was in Guadalcanal and Cape Gloucester in the Pacific, and I was just doing some research, and it was just busy work. I was laying in bed, and I stumbled across a set of 1911 grips in walnut that had the Marine Corps, the Guadalcanal patch engraved on it, the number 1. It was really super cool. Yeah, so I have those. Those are always in the back of my head. So I keep saying, like, man, if I get a 1911, I would at least have those to put on them if I ever carried it at a rally or something like that. Would be really cool. But yeah, there's so much neat stuff out there for 1911s. It's awesome. Ghost is one, definitely. If you guys get down there in Arkansas, he's got a really awesome channel. It's some good sub count, and really has some great connections in the industry as far as, like, guys that SHOT Show, and these guys all go out to Wanamaker and stuff like that. Yeah, the 1st Marine Division. I don't know why I blanked out on that. Why I stumbled on that one. Yeah. Calaveras, you wanna? Yeah, I can shoot you a link here. Hold on a second. Let me give me 3 seconds here. I'm going to send Pickle a link. So what else, Greg? What have we missed? What do you have going on that you want to talk about?
Mostly it's that I mean, this input has been awesome. I should have been back before this. I'm going to do it more often. I mean, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely get a hold of Ghost when I go to Arkansas. Like I say, my buddy's the head, he worked with me at STI, and he's now the head of product development, product marketing at Walther, and so I kind of want to get up there and see what they're doing too.
I will. I know he's had some guns sent to him from Walther. I know he's dealt with them. I think he's had some of the guys on his show too. He might even know your guy. He definitely you should get a hold of him for sure. If you want me to, I can shoot him your email. Well, I'm sure your email's on the website. It's not like he needs me to give it to him, but I could shoot him your email if you want.
That'd be great.
Walther fanboys, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Walther.
Yeah,
Walther.
Yeah, Misha says if the election goes south, there's no more ammo to shoot these guns. Yeah, no matter what you chamber it in, you might be screwed if it gets any worse, right?
Well, honestly, I have a lot of debate with a lot of people that I talk to, and I just don't see how it gets any better, no matter which way it goes. Because even if Trump wins, it's going to get so crazy. If Trump loses, then it's going to go crazy because all those people who have guns are going to want more ammo. You know what I mean? It's just. And then I talked to a guy last week, and he said, even if everything got better in October, it would take until next summer to get ammo again. I go, you got to be kidding me. So we're definitely in it for a while. I
would love to. I mean, the Remington thing, with PSA, Palmetto State Armory possibly buying Remington. I would love to see PSA pick up Remington and just start slamming out ammo like crazy, and see them grow their business.
Can you believe that? So they're talking about that being a $60 million purchase. I mean, really, in 6 months, they would do so much business, it would be crazy. At a profit. Ammo business is not a profitable business, but today it's exceptionally profitable.
Well, the thing we were talking about it on one of the other guys' shows, and we were, the subject came up, and I thought, oh my gosh, they would have the opportunity to basically cut out the middleman, and PSA sells a ton of ammo at good prices. They do a good job. They've got a great business model to cut out the middleman, but not only that, to be able to keep the Remington name and also, relabel for themselves maybe, and sell even a little bit of a discount, but cut out the middleman and still make more money than they are now. I really hope they do well with it because, I know some people, rag on PSA for being budget, so budget minded at times, but everything that I've ever seen about them, they really seem like a company that knows what they want to do. They want to give a good product at a good price, and they're happy to do it. And they do they do a great job. Yeah. Ghost is asking if you could say who's your guy at Walther. He was asking.
Jens Crow.
Jens Crow.
He was at Blaser, and before that at Adams Arms, and before that at STI.
Oh man, Blaser! I a couple of years ago stumbled across I think it was Gunbroker, some of the Blaser rifles. They're crazy. That's amazing. If you've never looked it up, if you don't know who they are, look it up sometime, and you see some of the most amazing guns that have ever been made. Some of the most intricately carved and engraved, and just amazing.
Yeah.
Mad Sexy saying hello. Ask Calaveras about how Walmart just shrugged off the gun people again. I'm not sure what he's talking about. And Ghost says he's met him before.
Met Jens, yeah. He's a
awesome
good guy. Really, he's in his mid-30s, and you'd swear he's a 60-year-old with all of his gun knowledge. He is a crazy smart gun guy.
Yeah.
They were really lucky to get him. He's done a lot of things. I guess they're really excited about their product offering that's coming, and possibly Ghost has seen some of it, but he's pretty excited about what they're doing up there.
Carolina EDC Review says Cosaint Arms Trump 2020 1911 theme.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they have that particular tint of orange available in Surcoat?
yeah, there you go.
Hang on.
There you go. It's like a burnt orange kind of thing.
Yeah, we call it copper. Yeah.
There you go. But you can, instead of putting an RMR on top, you put a little toupee on top. You'd be good to go. Every time the slide comes back, the hair goes like this. Poof, poof.
Goes right back to
Have you
zero.
seen the video where Trump is on the guy's TV and his hair's blown and he's sitting there with a comb and the blow dryer?
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody else have anything? Misha says tempting the YouTube gods again. Yeah, YouTube has this rule it's relatively new. I don't know if it was in effect when you were on the show last time or not, that they don't want you showing guns on live streams, but people get away with it all the time. I'm not super worried about it. Yeah, you don't get in trouble, but it can shut down the live stream if the algorithm picks up on it. They started doing it after somebody. There was a suicide on Facebook or something, and they put in an algorithm that if they see a gun on the live stream, it's supposed to cut it off. Which very rarely do you actually see it cut it off, but
it's only when people are actually poking the bear they get the attention of YouTube that it really happens.
Yeah, he happened a couple of times in one night.
Well, he did it though when they first implemented it. He was holding him up and being like, let's see if it'll cut me off, and it did.
This was a couple weeks ago where it happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mad said Walmarts in California have pulled all hunting ammo, so they will no longer sell ammo in California. Huh? None at all, huh?
Well, doesn't California also have that whole
registration
background check for ammo now?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they've had that. Yep.
Well, it's a business. It's okay. We've got 3 people maybe who have the keys to this case, and they're not it's not like, oh, Bob, who just sits over at the sporting goods area and twiddles his summits. No, they're also stocking shelves. They're working them like this. So ammo is like point something of a % of our total sales, which it sucks because they are the largest retailer in the United States. But, yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to do, man? I mean,
blame California.
Yeah. I mean, they're their own business. They can do whatever they want. I guarantee it's hurt their overall sales because, I mean, how many people used to go there for ammo and pick up other stuff while they're there? It doesn't just go the other way. It's not just people going to Walmart to buy,
everything.
Buy clothes and stuff, and then they pick up some ammo while they're there. I mean, whenever I bought ammo at Walmart, I was going there for the ammo, and then I'd pick up, shampoo or whatever while I was there, just.
You can get those frozen Monte Cristos to drop in the deep fryer so they don't
That's
fall
right.
apart.
There you go.
You don't use shampoo.
I use body
talking
wash. Soap and soap. And a lot of it. I got a lot of body.
Yeah, that works great.
Midnight.
Wash it there in your body at the same time.
It has helped the sales at other locations, though. That's right. I didn't know that they stopped selling hunting ammo, but I know at the ones here locally, they hadn't been selling ammo of any kind, for probably a year now. But that's for. But yeah, I think you guys are right. That's true. It probably has impacted their sales in some ways, but being for a while there, they were one of the few stores that were still open because they sold the quote unquote essentials and they didn't have
That's
aisles and sections blocked off. They were during the pandemic. They actually were one of the ones still doing well. Because
yeah. Well, yeah, it's boy, and it's really hard to judge right now, right? Just for some of the reasons you said, like they stopped selling ammo, so that might have hurt their sales a little bit. But you might not even notice because things are so bananas with people buying other stuff as fast as they can put it on the shelves. So are they really going to notice the dip right now? So, when things calm down eventually, I mean, maybe they might see that and be like, oh shit, we screwed up. We messed up.
It is a lot of historically. What I always understood it to be was you lose the male shopper. The male shopper goes because the wife is doing other things. So I'm going to go over to sporting goods and look at stuff, guns and ammo or whatever. And
impulse buy.
And so that was always, there was a book out called Why We Buy. And that was a whole section in there about, the logic to get the male to be in the store with if it was a woman shopping, store. It's what happened with Kmart. Kmart got out of stuff and they just started closing like crazy. Montgomery Ward. I mean, so many of these old time places, they got rid of all that stuff that made it worthwhile for the guy to go. Then both of them stopped coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Sears too. Sears is closing down. Sears is done. I drove past our local mall today or the other day, and you drive past it and you're just like, wow, it's a ghost town. It's crazy, Carolina EDC is saying, will they ever do ported barrels and custom cutouts on their slides? Is that something you guys would you guys do ported barrels and custom cutouts? I guess he means like lightning cuts on the slides or even whatever.
Yeah, definitely. The only reason we haven't is we're not that creative yet.
Right.
We just there's so much other stuff to do. What we'd really like to be able to do is to develop that look of doing some of that. Again, our gunsmith had worked on a whole series of ported barrels through his gunsmithing business and also when he was with Para before Remington got him. And he's a big believer in that and thinks that there's a lot of cool ways to do that. So, yes, we would like to migrate to that. And also it might be where people just request it. Hey, I like what you're doing, but could I get this, this, and this? It's like, sure. Just, next time we do slides or whatever, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something I was kind of thinking. It sounds like you guys are already pretty well set up for it, but that's for like the thin blue line guns and some of these other ones, as being almost like a performance center type idea or like a custom center where you have your baseline, but then you have some of these other fancy featured lines that if someone's willing to put down a deposit and wait 4 months or whatever the time frame happened to be, you could provide maybe some of these things that aren't normally in a gun case. I don't know if that's something you guys
we're
do
definitely
or not,
set up for it, and that's the kind of thing that we would love to be able to do. Like these new reps that we brought on board, they really wanted a core product line. So when they go show it to customers, especially if you're dealing with retail, they don't really want to go and spec every gun they ever buy. They the rep would do it, but they really want to just know that there's a core product. And so we've really developed the idea of the core product line, but to do a special makeup is not like a completely tear the place apart to do this thing. It's just getting some machine time, programming it, and making the changes. That's like the RMR cut we talked about earlier. I mean, that's really not that bad if we fixture for it and we prepare for it. It's when you go totally out. Like we did something on a shotgun receiver. Well, that was we had to fixture for it. That was a huge deal. I mean, that was really taking care of the local retailer versus making money on it. But I think that, again, as people shoot and like our gun, I think that's a natural progression without it becoming a $4,000 gun. You know, I mean, that's the one thing I just want to try and stay true to is that, you know, some things cost more, so we'll charge more for it. But it's not like there's a lot of these guys, you put lightning cuts on the slide, and all of a sudden it's a $200 upcharge or $400 upcharge. You know, you go from, like my old company, you go from their standard single stack carry gun at $1,700, and you go to the full size and it's $2,000. Well, there's no difference in price, especially when you make all the parts that they make. But that's the price point for a bigger gun, you know? And so there's little things like that we're going to try and, you know, we'd like to make the offer, because if it makes it their personal gun, something that they cherish, that's kind of what we'd like to do.
Yeah, it's like you said about the magwell. It's, you know, it's like, well, we're making a grip. Why don't we just make a grip with a magwell already there? Why not?
Right.
Yeah, I like it. So what's your favorite combination right now? You know, if like I said, talking about Instagram, you guys have got a lot of cool stuff on Instagram, and I know I leave comments under the videos. And I was like, ooh, I like, you know, that's a nice combo, or I like this, or it would be awesome if it had this color or that. What do you like? If you were gonna go in there tomorrow and crack the whip and say, here's what I want, guys, make me this. This is, you know, what would it be?
So, you know, I never thought about this, but I love our Commander 45. It is just an awesome gun. I think that our Commander Round Top 45, and the reason is no front serrations, very traditional. When you hold it up, I won't do it, you know, for live streaming purposes, but you hold it up, it looks very traditional 1911. You know, you do this, you know, without knowing it, it's a 1911. But it has this, so we've been talking about it, is that it's like an old Mustang that you put in a brand new souped up engine in it, or souped up suspension. You have no idea. It's just a stock looking Mustang, you know? And that's what this is. This has this badass shooting characteristics, and especially in a 45, very controllable. I shipped a gun to a guy Friday, a guy I know in Texas. He bought one from me, and it's a 45 compact with a full-size grip. So what Kimber calls their pro carry.
Yeah.
And so I go to the range, and I'm kind of, you know, we painted it. I test fired it at the shop. Felt great. The trigger was a little light, but it was really, really light, you know, light. And that's what everybody loves about our triggers. You know, they're 3-pound trigger pulls. And so I go into the range, and I had a 9, I had 2 9s in the 45, and I just kind of line them up, and I'm going to sight them in. And I go to shoot that 45, and it double taps. It goes boom, just that fast. And so then I finished out the magazine, but first I brought the target in because I wanted to see it. Those 2 bullets were like right next to each other. And so to me, it was like, oh my God, that's the best example of what makes this gun so awesome. In theory, without my knowing it, I double tapped it. It should have been out of there until I could, you know, come back and shoot again, you know, and to accidentally hit a second, you know, pull the trigger a second time. I just think those 45s are just crazy good guns. And plus it's classic. You know, I think that's why we sell more 45s than normally, because it's a classic, you know, 1911 look. There's a lot of people who don't even think, when they say, well, tell me about your 45s. They don't think it comes in 9. They only think it's a 45.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is like, you know, tell me which one's your favorite child, you know, That question's not fair.
Yeah, I hear you. I know. I love. It's funny because when you always like when I think like it's so nice to have it all blacked out. It's so nice to have one of those blacked out with like you guys do the G10 grips that are like the grayish marbled swirl kind of. It's really sharp. And I'm like, man, that's so nice. It's so nice to have it blacked out and simple. And then you scroll on Instagram and you're like, oh man, that green looks cool, or oh man, that blue looks cool. it's tough.
And that's why retail won't buy these colors. They won't buy colors because then you're getting into somebody's personal preference, and they don't. Right. They might like the gun, but they don't like the color, and so that's why I like these new colors. The smoke. We got a new one called Platinum from Cerakote. It's a really kind of gunmetal, really lighter gunmetal gray. Those look really good. They're really simple. We do black highlights just to pull a little bit of something out of there because of the black grip. If we could make the whole thing one color, but I don't like necessarily painting the grips. We can do it, and it turns out great. It's just I like that contrast.
It would be it'd be awesome to walk into a shop and see, an all blacked out COS 11, and then beside it have just a 10 or 12 different, even if it was safeties lined up beside it, just to show different colors to actually say these are the colors we can do, and here's the parts that we can do them in. Like have a field day. Here's a piece of paper. Write down what you want. Like that's awesome. That's such a cool thing. Caroline EDC says he is right. It's really great with follow-up shots, and the trigger is light. Dead Horse is out there. He says 45 is greater than the calibers that lost 2 world wars. So there's your 45. And Ghost is getting all upset at him now. See, now we're gonna have a fight in the chat. He says nobody needs a 45. It's hashtag overkill. Yeah. Overkill is underrated, they say. Yeah. No.
I like this. I mean, I love this new 10 millimeter. That's totally worth it. I talked to a retailer up in Chicago, and he goes, I carry a 10 millimeter every day. Okay, well that's cool. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I know. Clover Tack, another one of the boys, is he's down in Texas. He's a big 10 millimeter guy. So when you keep talking about you have a client down in Texas, I keep thinking like if Clover Tack bought one of these, I'm going to be pissed if he picked one of these things up. I would give him shit. You didn't sell one to a very tiny little green guy, did you?
Did you see Misha N's comment out there? He said until it shoots 50 BMG, it's not overkill.
There you go. You're definitely going to need to put a couple of ports in that one.
Yeah.
10 millimeter is the best.
We ported a FN. I think it was an FN barrel. We ported somebody's FN barrel, a 10 millimeter FN barrel, and he wanted it right in front, long, thin, and we persuaded him, can we do it at an angle and put holes versus, slits? And finally he gave in and said yes. And it was just like, does he even understand what's going to happen when he shoots that thing? With it being he won't see anything, Yeah.
You might as well be shooting a flame. One of Elon Musk's flamethrowers, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything? Any guys out in the chat, and you guys in the panel here? Still got a little time if you want to. If not, and Greg, you're welcome to stay as long as you want to. We've been going a little over an hour and 15 minutes. So, if you let me know. Talking about Yankees, somebody's using Yankees video to sell solvent traps. I'm sure he's happy about that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, especially with his temper.
Yeah. I could see him getting a hold of them having his lawyer get a hold of them right off the bat. Hey, I'm not your spokesman, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, have his lawyer call him tomorrow and then have a video by tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. Two Live Moves wondering if you could do one that looks like a cow, black and white cow, and instead of a magwell, can you put udders underneath it?
That's actually pretty good.
He said he wants the magwell to look like udders. He just put the mag right up in there.
I know.
I want a black cow.
You should get that for your. You should get that for your dad for Christmas. Get him a Two Live edition.
Okay.
He would love it.
Udder, and the front side will be horns.
There you go.
And the one udder will be like a Cosaint trigger.
You can work that with your pinky.
We actually bought.
Who does it?
It's a white Stormtrooper white from Cerakote. Because we're so close to Clemson, we were going to make a Clemson gun just to do it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And thinking that with college football dead, we should make a couple of college football guns without the logo, just the color schemes, because then somebody's going to say, well, I'm not going to spend all this money on football. I love that white. That Stormtrooper white is perfect. It's perfect for the gun you just described.
It was.
You could do the Clemson with the logo. Clemson's playing. ACC's in playing. Notre Dame just joined the ACC, and they just played Saturday against Duke.
Yep.
I know a couple of years ago, when you first started seeing some of the white guns, I was like, that's so goofy. It looks so weird. But man, they really grew on me.
Yeah, the more you look at them. Yep.
Yeah, the more you see them, and the more parts are coming in white, and they have the black accents or whatever. They look really sharp.
Yeah.
It's a really sharp. I really dig it. Yeah, it's really cool. Carolina EDC says Gamecocks.
Yeah.
Black guns matter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's talking about his live chat last night.
Tiger King theme. There you go.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. You should do a gold tiger stripe like they do on the Deagles.
Yeah. We did a black and gold gun. Actually, it was supposed to be auctioned today. There's a charity out in Oregon called Black and Gold Classic, and all the money goes to veterans organizations, and so an old friend of mine bought one and bought a gun and had us spec it out as black and gold. So it's got a gold frame with a black slide and black highlights. It was a very cool looking gun, and we didn't post anything about it because I was waiting until he put it up on auction. Then we were going to post everything, and now it's all been put on hold. So
yeah,
it's again, love making all these personalized guns.
Need to do a gun this season.
The Punisher, yeah.
Sell a few of those.
Ghost wants a Crayola crayon themed, please. He said,
yeah.
Those Marines,
wouldn't he try to eat it?
Yeah.
Well, you see, with it being steel, it'd be the crayon that he can never get. The crayon that lasts forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Problem is, that's for with Ghost and sending him anything crayon related. That's for we already had a gun channels guy that one upped all of us by doing the crayon box that plays the Marine Corps hymn.
Yeah, that was super cool. That was really neat. Yeah, we have but he's usually on the chat, so I don't know where he's at. He must be working. He works nights. He loves to do gadgets and build stuff, and he's a cool dude. He's got some really neat talents, and he took a real box of crayons and added in, like, it's almost like a music box or something. So you flip the lid open and you push down on certain crayons, and he sent it to Ghost. And if you push down whatever crayons, it'll play the Marine hymn.
Oh
It's
my
really,
God, how creative is that?
yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah, it's I can't remember what his channel. It's DM Foss, but I can't remember what that channel. He has a second channel that he does that stuff on. I think that's what it was on. But yeah, it was super neat. Yeah, it's just really impressive, some of the stuff he does. It's cool. Like he starts the video out with just like a pile of stuff, and I'm like, there is no. And you know what? I guess I shouldn't be so in awe of it, because I can throw down a pile of food and be like, make something with this, and people would be like, I have no idea what the hell. But that's what I do for a living, so I'm like, oh yeah, no problem, just bang it out. But for him, he's like that with gadgets and stuff. It's pretty awesome. I dig it. He's showing you step by step how to do it. I'm like, first of all, I'd be on fire by now, and it wouldn't work at all. So, he's soldering stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'd be missing fingers. I'd be all burnt up. I'd look like the little burn up guy from the Beetlejuice movie. It'd be horrible.
Fast's other
With the
channel is barely
Chicago
practical.
Barely practical. There you go.
White trash taco.
Yeah. So they put it out there, and Guns and Barbecue says we can't do a crayon 1911. Marines will instinctively put the crayons in their mouth. It's inherently unsafe.
Well, no. See, what you do is you make the gun look like the crayon box, and the bullets look like the crayons.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you did a Crayola one and made it purple, and you used does Cerakote have a scratch and sniff purple color? That would be nice. That'd be perfect. It'd be perfect.
You might have to do that on the grips.
Yeah, that's
What's purple smell
Purple.
like?
it's grape. It smells like grape Kool-Aid or something.
No,
Yeah,
purple
they could
smells
do their
like
own
purple.
bullet. See, and then they would do their own bullets, kind of like how Coonan had the silver bullets that came with the vampire kit. So you do your own bullets, and then make them look like the crayons, and there you go.
Misha N says the real question is, do they take Glock mags?
Only if Glock starts doing 1911s.
That's right.
No.
You guys, somebody did ask, I think it was G23 asked earlier, do you guys ship with Metgar mags, or which mags are you using these days?
We used Chip McCormick for a long time. I bought some Wilsons in, but I had a little problem with Wilsons this weekend and last week that I have to work through. I really like Wilsons on the 45 with that full follower versus the metal one that flips. Full
like
follower.
They're D47s.
Yeah. They really work well. We have to relieve a little bit of our grip to get them to fit right, but the Chip McCormicks have done really well for us too. Initially, we did Metgar, and I did somebody else. Oh, I did guys up in Connecticut or Long Island, Checkmate. But then Chip McCormick's were really highly recommended, and Wilson's that just, they just don't seem to. I don't get a bad one.
Yeah, Chip McCormick was the only mags that would work with my Kimber before I dumped that piece of crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just amazing how all the magazines are different, and we've had issues with almost all of them at some point, and that's really, I'd always heard that, but that's why I did a single stack, because I thought, well, I can always get good mags. Double stack, it's harder to get a good mag, consistent mag, and so but so far we like the Chip McCormick and the Wilsons.
If you guys were to start producing a double stack, that's where with all of your guys' brain power and design know-how that you've already put into the guns, have you considered trying to figure out a magazine of your own that functions better than the competition?
It is. The difficult part is that takes, between $100,000 and $180,000 in tooling money to get it made, and so we got a long way to go before we can foot that bill. Long term, that's the thing to do. I mean, when you can get mags made yourself, they're just so cheap. They're so much cheaper, and then you can pick the best springs for them. You just don't get these stock springs, and I mean that's where I mean, I would eventually love to be able to afford to make both our own single stack and double stack mags, because then you could really have great springs for every caliber versus kind of a generic that we get. And but that's kind of we have to mature to that.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of money when you can buy. That's a lot of mags. That's a lot of mags bought rather than making them yourself for sure.
Yeah, that is a lot more expensive than I ever anticipated. You know, hopefully we can get you guys successful enough where that becomes feasible.
And the only reason is that, you know, you have, you know, each mag is like 30 grand. So you get an officer and a commander, 945. Well, there's your 120 right there, is because you got 4 mags at 30 grand a piece. And so that's the only reason, you know, but the difference is, so through being in a dealer program at Wilson or with Chip McCormick, whatever, I pay $25 to $30 for a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
If I had those made, it's about $10, $11.
So kind of piggybacking on that, you know, you can buy it when it's already there. Have you guys partnered with any kind of a holster manufacturer or anything?
Great question. We get that question all the time, and there's so many holsters. I just did not put the time in to figure it out. But I got a call from a guy I know at 1791 Leather, and
great company.
And yeah, unbelievable company. And so Tim pinged me and he said, does your 1911 fit the traditional 1911 holster? And I said, yes. I just don't know about our square trigger guard. Depends on how you make them. He goes, I'm sending you one today. So he sends me out this holster, and that's the picture. I think I posted it last week, and it's got 2 guns, both square trigger guard, but one has a tactical frame, one has a standard frame, and both of them fit like a glove in this holster. And it's just beautiful. And they have, now this is a commander, but they have a 3.5 holster, both in the waistband and outside, and they're like $40 to $50. I mean, this leather is beautiful. And so, I mean, immediately, that's why I posted it. I put the 2 guns out there. The fact that it holds the square trigger guard is a huge plus. Now, it doesn't fit our tri-top very well at all. So we're still trying to find one. My machinist has one of our tri-tops, and he actually bought a Glock 21 holster that fits it fantastic. So we just need to put the time into finding, like, I want to link to 1791 because they've done such a good job. Our guns fit great in it. So I'm going to put a link to them, but then I want to find a good Kydex holster guy, so that I can recommend Kydex leather and know that they work. That's one of our big downfalls right now. You know, I get a lot of questions about what do you recommend in a holster.
Misha is asking a good question, and I can't remember. I feel like I know the answer, but can you guys do finger grooves? And I don't remember if I saw one that had finger grooves or not.
No, so ours automatically has the relief cut right here.
Okay.
See?
Yeah. Okay.
The relief cut. So we only have that one. We have not gone to put one in, you know, down the front strap.
Misha, just buy a Dremel and just Dremel it. No big deal.
Yeah, I'm skeptical. You're gonna have to send me a couple.
As a Dremel, you know, I don't think Misha is E-Honda in disguise, so I don't think a Dremel's gonna fly, especially on such a nice firearm.
He uses a bench grinder. What are you talking about?
He's got a little nail file. That's all they'll let him have in the mental ward.
John's John's life's got a little got a question out there, and it's a little off topic, but what the heck? He says, question for someone who has severe arthritis and small hands, would a 22 mag SAA clone be a bad choice?
Yeah. If he's talking about the Rough Rider, no, because my wife shoots mine fine. She has small hands, and it doesn't bother her to shoot that at all.
If that's what we're talking about, if that type of gun, I would imagine somebody with small hands would probably feel more comfortable than somebody with large hands on that one for sure. Yeah, you wouldn't have your pinky hanging down as much.
I don't know. Does anybody make something that's like the size of the Ruger Bearcat? Since they're, the grips on there are a lot smaller than the regular plow handles on the single action armies.
Well, if you're going with the Bearcat, you might as well get a Wrangler. They're about the same size as a Rough Rider.
The Bearcats are significantly smaller they're really small.
But I was gonna say I don't know if the Wrangler comes in I don't think the Wrangler comes in 22 Magnum though.
We're talking on this interweb thing here, and I'm pretty sure Ruger has a website.
Oh, there you go. You got a job to do now, 8.
Yeah, some of us though.
They're hiring. See you losers later.
Phone and makes it a little bit. Some of us talking on the phone. The interwebs is a little bit harder to use on the phone.
But also not all of us are in California, where all the 3G and the 5G is setting stuff on fire. So.
Yeah, but if you're looking for like a Heritage Rough Rider, that would work very well for somebody who, you're not going to have a lot of recoil from it, and if the 22 Magnum is too much, the 22 Magnum ones will come with the 22 long rifle cylinder as well, so you can swap them out.
Some do, some don't.
Wheeled and Well Armed is saying, where's Greg from? He's from Cosaint Arms. I pronounce it differently. I pronounce it weird, and I cannot stop doing it. It's driving me nuts. I always say Cosaint.
let me help you with that. So, we say Cosaint, okay, Cosaint. And a quick little story in that Springville Armory came after us for infringing on their Saint trademark by saying Cosaint. And
dicks.
And so we politely denied or declined and said that I think you're mistaken. And so far we haven't heard back from them. But the Irish pronunciation is Cosaint.
Cosaint. Yeah. Cosaint. Yeah, I always put it like it's supposed to be hyphenated, and I cannot break myself of it. It drives me nuts. And
down here in the south, that's where the Cosaint.
Oh yeah,
Cosaint.
Yeah. It's always Cosaint whenever somebody's talking about it.
Yeah. Guns and Barbecue is saying, what's the price range of these? Low and high. I know now. Since the first time you were on the show, what your high end, like what you could spend if you really wanted to, has got to be quite a bit higher than when you were on last, right? You guys are doing some new stuff.
Yeah. So when we started at like $1,400, and then you would add, and they ended up getting up at 16 or 17. Well, everyone ordered guns at $1,500. No one ordered a low end gun. No one ordered, fixed sights and, basic. And so we just kind of streamlined it to where now it's really simple in that our compacts are 15 and 1550, depending on whether it's 9 or 45. And our commanders are 1550 and 1600, whether it's 9 or 45. And then that 10 millimeter is 1800. Mm-hmm. So the thing that you can, you can put new sights on, that jacks the price up a little bit, and you could put our fast safety on. That fast safety is like crazy. That thing, and I'd probably say 70% of the guns we ship has that. If somebody's seen it, they want it on their gun.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah. Before you guys did that, you did a video. It was either on YouTube or Instagram. I think it was Instagram where you showed it. Yankee Marshall was talking about that on his show. So that's the first time I'd heard about it, and I saw you guys were using it. I thought, man, that's so nice for somebody that wants to carry, and they want to carry a little bit more, not more. I mean, I don't want to say that it's unsafe to carry a 1911 to begin with, but normally, that really does make you feel a little more comfortable with it if you're a little iffy.
That was distracting. You talking about the speed safe system?
Yeah.
When Greg was here, he had the prototype pistol with him that had that on it.
Yep.
I got to play with that before it was even announced on the website.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, basically you chamber around and then you can physically push the hammer front, right, which puts it under spring tension. And then when you drop the safety, it automatically brings the hammer back.
So you see it on my side here.
Yep.
See just the hammer's back. Now I push it forward. It's locked. I can't pull the trigger. I can't rack the slide. But when I go to the ready position, I just drop the safety. Hammer falls back. Ready to fire.
Yeah.
And it's as much, Travis. It's as much for people who see the gun holstered, are not intimidated by it being cocked and locked.
Right. Yeah. That's a great point.
They don't take another thought about it, and that's where most people said, as much as anything, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, that's super cool. When I saw that, I was like, wow, what a great option. Now I know originally the original 1911s didn't have this, but Misha's asking, can a 1911 be made without a grip safety? Is that something you guys would do?
Yes, because we get a lot of requests for that. We just have not put the time into developing the whole back end to be one piece. If somebody wants that, then what we would do is we would pin it. We would pin this forward so that it's always in this position. So we put a pin down here so that when it's put in, it's just locked forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, but the original prototype for 1911 didn't have the grip safety. That was something the Army wanted.
Yeah.
So why it ended up being added onto it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it was because of cavalry, because they didn't want it. They wanted it to be a little safer with one-handed use, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see if anything. The budget's out there. How you doing, budget? Wheeled and Well Armed says he has the SFS safety on all his Browning high powers. Very cool.
Yep. So we get it through cylinder and slide, and that's the two options they give you. Either a Browning high power or 1911.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Budget's another one out there that's got a great channel. It does a lot of cool stuff. He's in Ohio, so again, you want to go into Ohio? We got some guys up there if you need anything. You got a couple of new people out there. If anybody has any questions, now's the time. We're pushing 2 hours here. I don't want to keep Greg too long. You got to get his beauty sleep. He's got a business to run, Does Cosaint only do no drop safety 1911s? No.
You mean Series 7? Mean not having the internal firing pin block?
Right. No, we only do a Series 70.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, we'll give it a minute here, see if anybody throws anything else out there, and then if not, we'll cut it off.
So with all your other surface finish options, are you guys set up to where you could do like a two-tone high polish or a full high polish on any of your like all steel models?
We're not set up for it yet. We're being pushed to actually having some bluing capability. Since we make our stainless steel tri-tops, we've talked about doing stainless steel frames so that we can do some very cool custom looking, high polish You know, we just haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I tagged you in an Instagram post a while back from guys that do some crazy polishing. Tony Simon uses them, 2A for E in New Jersey. He does a lot of advocacy, and he's a firearms instructor and stuff. I can't remember the name of it. Something polishing. It's escaping my head now.
Is it like King's gun polishing?
No. I feel shoot. Patriot gun polishing.
I think I remember that.
I believe that's who it is. Yeah. Yeah, they're veteran owned. Oh, he's a USMC. He's a Marine too. Yeah, Patriot gun polishing. Underneath the Patriot gun and polishing, it's _Patriot_gun_polishing. Man, they do some amazing stuff. It would be awesome to see something of yours get super tricked out like that.
I'd love to see that. I'm going to go back to that.
They, I can't remember where they're located now, though. I think they're. I don't know. I can't remember where they're located. I think it's on the East Coast. I think it might be down south a little bit.
Okay.
I feel like it might be down by you, sort of. Georgia, maybe, or something. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, they did just do some amazing stuff. It's just one of those that I follow on Instagram, and everything that pops up is just like, wow, I can't believe that looks like that. You know?
Yeah, Misha.
Question coming in the chat there from Misha asking if the triggers are adjustable.
Yeah, he was also wanting to know if the guns are billboarded or not.
Does he mean like logoed? Is that what he means by billboarded?
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, the only thing on our gun is our name on the side and the serial number. And we just really didn't want to go down the Kimber or Springfield or, you know, with that big, huge, like you say, a billboard on the side. It just took away from that. Yeah, it takes away from that traditional 1911 look. And so we've just shied away from doing that. We'd really like to figure out something that would be, you know, the chamfer we put on every slide. So it's something that we do different than everybody else. So it's kind of our way of it being different. Trying to look for something that would, as soon as you pulled it out, somebody would know it's one of our guns. It's hard to tell.
I'll tell you what would be kind of neat is, and I said this before, your logo is really cool. Like your logo is it's an attractive logo. It would be really cool to see that logo printed or maybe engraved in like the grip safety or something, somewhere that isn't obnoxious. You know what I mean? Somewhere like that where, you know, when you see it, you see the logo, or even if it says Cosaint Arms and it has your logo on the grip safety, would be really sharp. I think that would be cool. I like logos in different places. You know?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we'd love to see that CA. We originally tried to get that CA engraved at the back of the slide.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But, you know, when you had that and then you put the serrations, it just looked too busy back there. You know, if we had the capability of lasering, that would be the thing to do, would be to laser it in.
Yeah.
But I like your idea of trying to find a subtle little place somewhere on the gun that is where the logo is, you know?
Yeah, and people put it at the front of the slide, or they put it, you know, places like that, and it's weird. I just don't like it. I do like the idea with products, and I'm like this with other products too, like hats and shirts and stuff. I mean, I always thought it was cool when I saw shirts with logos down the sleeve or something like that, somewhere different. And I don't know if it was me, I'd throw a logo on the on the grip safety. I think that would be really, really cool and different. What did I just see out there? Oh, Guns and Barbecue saying, is anyone going to bring this up? Is anyone going to the 2A rally in Harrisburg, PA at the end of the month? Anyone want to pick up the blind guy near Erie? Sorry, Erie's about 5 hours away. Erie's the wrong direction for me, but yeah, I need to look up that yet. I knew there's something going on, but I can't even remember exactly what day it is. I want to say it's the late 20th, somewhere in there, 28th maybe. I don't know. But yeah, if it's I'm hoping that I know I wanted to talk to Black Cat about that and see if he's coming down. But yeah, if it's a day that I can go, I'll definitely be there, man. We're pretty lucky in Pennsylvania. The gun laws here are pretty good, but Governor Wolf is no friend to the gun owner for sure. And yeah, it's definitely good to go if you can. So I'll do a video on that when I find out what it is for sure. So keep an eye on the station, the channel, and I'll do something. Are the parts interchangeable, like the trigger, the safety, and the back strap? Misha is asking.
So the only thing what's proprietary on ours is the grip, the mainspring housing, so the back strap, the grip safety. Our plunger tube is machined in, and we have a single post ejector. Those are the only things that are proprietary to us. It takes a standard 1911 trigger, standard mag catch, standard fire control system, strut, mainspring housing, spring, and pins. Everything else is standard.
Carolina's, I know I asked this the first time you were on. You guys have any swag yet? You doing T-shirts or hats or anything cool like that yet?
Have not. I've done them.
I'll tell you what.
I've done them just for us to go to shows and stuff, but I've not. I mean, I've not done hats or shirts, or it's just goofy.
There's, I mean, it's there's an awful lot of people doing, even some of us. I don't have anything, but patches and all that kind of patches and stickers and all that kind of cool stuff, and apparel. I know if you guys want to do it, there's an awful lot of places out there that Teespring and places like that you can just upload stuff and let it rip. You're not doing it in-house, so you're not probably going to be giving them away like crazy, but it's Guns and Barbecue said they need patches. Yeah,
I agree.
Again, your logo, I think your logo is super cool, so I think it really fits well with
Alan Anchor.
AlanAnchor.com.
Sticker needs.
Well, that was a very bad snob impersonation.
I wasn't trying to be snob.
But you have to. He runs it. Snob is the voice of AlanAnchor.com. That's Alan Anchor.
Well, then Snob should have been here.
There you go.
Midnight should have sent him a link.
I did originally, and then it all fell apart, and then I didn't resend him a link.
Snob doesn't do the Sunday shows. Or you guys send Stacy the link, then Snob jumps in using her link.
I always send her a link, and she never jumps in anymore. I think she hates me now.
Well, I can't imagine why.
I don't know. I don't know why anybody would hate me either. I'll have to ask my wife.
I mean, it's
I'm
not
sure she'll
like
come up with some,
it's not like you or anybody else on
some
this
good reasons.
channel insinuated that somebody was a bovine and a hamster wheel powering their internet.
Yeah.
Somebody say bovine?
Yeah, Foss is in Washington. Foss is out there. We were talking about his crayon box. He's out there now. He's out in the chat. So, man, honestly, I didn't expect to keep you here this long. I really thought you'd come on, we'd talk a little bit, and you'd take off on us. But I really appreciate you staying so long. We're at the 2-hour mark, and but I mean, it's great. I love having you on the show. It's always super fun to listen to. I'm very interested in somebody on the other side of the industry. It's great to talk to somebody that's actually producing stuff and that's innovating and that's willing to try stuff. And so it's really fun to talk to you. I love having you on the show. You're always welcome. I always send you links, and don't be afraid to use them one of these nights if you just want to come on and bullshit. You know what I mean?
I really appreciate it. You guys, always good input, and I just got to come back more because you guys are a big help to me. I wrote a bunch of notes on my phone, and really, I really appreciate it. I'm definitely going to reach out, especially as I start to get out there and, as you say, Ohio, Arkansas, different places to go do demos or go places. I'd love to know I'm going to go meet somebody there.
Yeah, I know. One of the guys that was mentioned earlier, Travis P11, he's been talking about possibly picking up. When he heard about your 10 millimeter, we were talking about your 10 millimeter, and he was like, "Ooh," and he started getting a little drooly, I think. The range he just moved, and I'm not sure if this is still his home range, but lives in Nebraska. His range is used by Hornady, uses his range.
Oh wow.
That's one of the ranges they use for testing, and it goes out to like 1,800 yards or something. It's pretty awesome, I guess. It sounds really cool. If he'd be a great contact for you, not only for the Hornady thing, but he's very interested in your pistols, and he's got a great following. He's got like 13,000 subs or more, and he's a very, very good dude. He's a very good guy. But yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to pop in here, and don't be ashamed to pop in the chat some night and say, "Hey, we're thinking about going to, Arkansas. We're thinking about going here or there. Do you guys know anybody that might be interested to come? That's doing videos, because, I'd love to see more of your videos on the web and see you guys do well." So,
you guys been a big help since the first day, from the first time we broke out of our cave. So,
well, it was a really great little cubby hole you guys had there to stumble upon. I'm glad I stumbled upon it, because it's been a lot of fun for me to work with you guys and to learn a little bit about the industry too. So it's been fun. Hopefully you guys can come up for the outdoor show. I know Ghost Tactical had the guys from DigiTrigger on his show last week, and they said they're going to be there. So I did not even know if it was going to happen, because they don't have it posted yet. They don't have it on the website. So I was really worried that they weren't going to have it, but it sounds like they're gonna do it if these guys have gotten a spot set up. So,
yeah, did you see DigiTrigger there this year? They were right in that same row that Greg was in, but they were a couple styles down on the other side.
You know what? I saw a couple of. I remember Geisley was over there, and those guys, AGL or AGS or whatever, AGL. And I must have missed them. And I wasn't necessarily looking so much at electronic stuff last year. There was a lot of electronic optics and stuff like that, where you could record things that you could record while you're shooting, and you can record what you see through the scope and all that kind of stuff. I sort of saw it, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I probably did the same thing with DigiTrigger, because it just really wasn't anything that was kind of on my radar. And I wish it was, and I'm definitely going to stop in and see him this time, because that's a pretty cool product.
Yeah, they're really cool. I was playing. They had a mock-up setup that you could play around with, and that was pretty decent. Trigger.
Yeah, it's neat. I was looking more at. Well, honestly, I was looking more at guns, because there were some guns that I wanted to get in my hand just to feel, and that I just don't have an opportunity to any other time. Even a couple things from Taurus, but they had the Ruger 5.7 there. There were certain guns that I was looking for more than anything else. So I think I just kind of missed out on a couple of things that maybe I should have seen. But so I'm gonna kill it. I was planning on talking to Greg for a little bit and then doing a bunch of other stuff, but I really didn't even want to cut it off, man. I wanted to just keep talking, and while everybody was interested. So I think we're going to end it tonight and, talk about some stuff next week. Hey, it's nothing that other people haven't talked about. I'm glad the show went the way it did, though. So Foss is putting the Instagram out there and Patreon out there and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't push Patreon a whole lot. I mean, I know I got quite a few people that support the show, and I really, really appreciate it. It's really awesome. It's bought me some gunsmithing stuff and some stuff like that. So that's been super cool. New York Outcast says you can buy a gun for the price of that trigger. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but Rob is cheap too. I mean, he'll tell you himself.
There's people out there that have the money and they want things that are different and they want things that are new and they want things that are interesting. And hey, good for them, man. It ain't me. I don't have the money for that, but someday. So in closing, does anybody have anything in closing here?
Just wanted to say, hey, Greg, congratulations on the new whatever business adventure. I dig what you're doing, man. I love it. Keep it going.
Rich, I hear your kittens in the background.
No, that's the adult. That's Greg's buddy.
He's yelling
on him.
All right.
Yeah, Greg was sitting on the love seat and he climbed up on Greg's lap and fell asleep.
There you go. So, Ape, you wanna take us out here? We'll shut this down and we'll
ladies and gentlemen,
we'll get back to it next week.
Easy there now. Every time you guys try and do my outro, you owe me a nickel.
I don't know you nothing.
No,
pay you in
Rich
banana.
or Moo, whoever was trying to do a poor snob impersonation of me here. So, random last-minute bullshitting aside, ladies, gentlemen, and Jonases of all ages, thank you for watching Midnight Range TM's The Closer. This concludes our regularly scheduled programming, but we'll be back. Eventually, that's both a promise and a threat.
True.
Yep. So, the Gun Channel's community Monday night programming lineup. At 5 p.m. Eastern, it's Hasty Headlines. Hear how the world is slowly circling the toilet at an ever-increasing rate with Mr. Mad himself at 5 p.m. Eastern. At 7 p.m. Eastern, it's the Polite Society podcast on Facebook, and Travis P11, King Travi himself, has moved to Saturdays. All right? He's not on Mondays anymore.
I know, and it's weird. It's so weird to have him on that day.
Yeah, back on Saturdays again. It's
yeah.
It'd be like if Gizzard started doing Monday morning chats instead of Sunday mornings. Just throw your whole week off. Speaking of throwing your week off, at 8 p.m. Eastern, it's Clover Tax MOA Monday on Instagram, sometimes on YouTube, and Hawaii Volcano Squad's Locked and Loaded, also on YouTube. At 9 p.m. Eastern, it's Never Enough Ammo, a.k.a. Mr. Matt's Guns and Geek podcast, and remember, Monday is always the Weekend Geek. And every weeknight at midnight Eastern, it's the Daily Gun Show. Check out GunTube.org as a free and unrestricted Pro-2A video platform. If you like what you see, go over to the Patreon and help support the platform. For less than the price of a cup of Diet Beef Soda Zero, you too can help support a platform that is free from corporate censorship. And despite the technical difficulties we were having with playing musical chairs, it is fairly easy to use. For cool and unique two-way swag like pretty much any patch you see here on this patch panel, go over to GearWebsites.com. That's GearWebsites.com for cool and unique two-way swag. And remember, hot dog is a sandwich, Slim Jim is candy, and never eat fudge from a place that's called Uranus. I don't care if it's on I-95. Don't eat from Uranus Fudge Factory.
Don't eat the street fudge. Nope. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with us. And one more time, man, thanks for stopping in, Greg. I really appreciate your time, and we had a great show. We had a lot of fun. So
yeah, thanks, Greg.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. See you guys next week. Take it easy. Bye.
Bye.